Good morning. Another day here. We got some chemicals to get unloaded here. Well, not chemicals, boron. I got some boron for my starter, and they're dropping that off, so I'm gonna get the forklift and get it unloaded here. All right, so there is my shuttle of boron. Looks like I got 270-ish gallons. I don't know what it says. Boron is a micronutrient that crops need to function correctly, and so we put it in. I'm going to add it to the starter. One thing about it is you got to be very careful to not put too much boron on, because it will cause seeds to not germinate or kill seedlings, because it's highly toxic to small plants. So we're putting it in a 2x2 and not directly in the seed furrow. I would never put boron in the seed furrow, and I'm only putting a quart to the acre. A quart to an acre. That's a very, very small amount. So we should be okay, and I think it will help out tremendously. All right, so now that boron is unloaded back there, I've got a little bit of computer work that I'm going to do. I've got some more stuff to do outside this afternoon, but I'm waiting for it to warm up. It's only like 35 degrees outside right now. It's supposed to get up in the 50s today. So we'll go outside this afternoon and work on some stuff, but the rest of the morning here, I'm probably going to sit and work on the computer a little bit. So here's what I'm working on the computer. Making prescription maps for soybeans, which we're kind of new at doing, but thought I'd walk through that real quick. I know you guys weren't super interested in how I did it with the corn, so I won't spend a lot of time on this, but basically I'm doing the same thing I did with the corn, where I layer all of the years of soybean data that I have. You can see down there in the corner there's a lot of years, and make it into a composite map, which looks like this. So anything in green, the average yield over all the years was 60 bushel or higher. The yellow was between 50 and 60, and the red is less than 50. So then I take that and turn it into a prescription map, just using those exact zones. It's slow. So while I wait on that, I've been deleting emails. I've deleted 1,000 emails out of my Gmail account. I'm back to October of 2018. Only got 2,700 to go. Okay, so then that comes up, and then I fill out this information. Okay, and then once I get that done, I go to the next screen, and instead of doing 5 rates like I do for corn, I'm only doing 3, and it's the exact opposite. So with corn, the better the yield potential, the more plants per acre that I want to plant, higher the population. With beans, they can compensate better for lower populations, and we actually want to lower the population where it's more productive ground. So in the red zones that are my low yielding, I'm actually going to plant higher. I'm going to plant 180,000. In the yellow, which would be our standard normal planting rate, is 160,000. And then the green, we're going to drop it to 140,000. And I probably could go lower across the board on all those, but that's where we're comfortable with right now. And the later that it gets when we plant, we will up this. So we'll put in a prescription multiplier and say add 10% to all of those or something. So the 180 plus 10% would be another 18,000, and we'd be pushing up towards 200,000 in those areas. So that's all I'm doing here, is creating some soybean prescription maps and deleting emails. Okay, well, I've made quite a few planting maps. How many did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's pretty good for this morning. And I also managed to get my emails down to 186 left in my inbox, which is down from 4,500-ish. Apparently it's been 4 years since I did it. So that's a good feeling, but it's time to go be productive. So here is my plan for the afternoon. We need to move some fertilizer around in our tanks out here. So both of those tanks have corn starter in them, and we need to transfer the stuff that's in that tank into that one and mix them together, and it should fit. I think we'll have plenty of room, actually. And then once we get that done, we'll see. But there in that far green one is ATS, ammonium thiosulfate, which is what we're going to put into that tank. But we got 4 semi-loads of it coming, so that's what's going to eventually end up in there. So in order to transfer stuff, we need to get our pump put in place, which it sits right down here on the ground and hooks into there, and then we'll have to play with our connections and hoses and
this is the hose that usually goes out to whatever we're filling, and we'll just disconnect it here, and we got to get it to this tank. So maybe we can make that work real easy, actually. Okay, I think this is going to work. So I've got, well, this big 3-inch black line that's all the way under there is kind of our line that draws from each tank. So it's plumbed into this tank, which is the one that we're going to draw out of. I disconnected the one that goes to this tank and put a cap in it. And then I connected and that then comes into the suction side of our pump, this valve. We got to open that up. But and then the output side, I just made that hose loop around into the bottom of this tank. So I should be able to open that valve. And this valve. And this valve. And it's going to gravity flow because this tank is fuller than that tank. But I should be able to start the pump up and it'll all go. What are the chances this pump starts? I don't know that it's been used since last summer. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. All right. Well, we'll just wait till that one's empty, and that one should be close to full by then. Yep, this is definitely going to take a little while. We've drawn that tank down from about there to there, and the other ones went up about the same, opposite. So we're going to let her run. This is our tender trailer. I don't think I've shown you guys this in any of our videos yet. We certainly haven't used it since I've been making these videos. We put this together, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. It's an old Army flatbed trailer that we bought pretty cheap, and got 2 big tanks on it. Got it plumbed up, pump on the side here, and then we've got this kind of arm, the boom with 3-inch plumbing, so we can use it to fill either the planter or the sprayer, whatever we're using it for. We usually keep it in our barns down to Berkey, but we brought it up last week when we were getting ready to spray the nitrogen on the wheat. We just haven't gotten any nitrogen done yet because then it rained. Speaking of sprayers, while I'm waiting for that to pump, I'm going to take this out and put it on the sprayer so that it is ready to go. Although we got to update the display yet, but we'll get to that part. There we go. And plug it in. All right. That should be good. Wonder how our boards are doing in here. Well, they look drier. Let's see, we're down to 60% humidity. Still almost 70 degrees in here. I don't know when the last time we checked on this was, a week and a half ago, and it was like 84% humidity in here, so they are drying. Sun came out. It's pretty nice out here now. It was cold this morning, and it's still not real warm. Sunshine makes a big difference. Yeah, we're getting closer. Still gonna take a while. It is going. And it doesn't seem like it's taking that long to you guys, but I bet that pump's been running for 45 minutes. It's going slow. Starting to get bored sitting here waiting for this. But we are getting there. It's almost done. It is still a super nice day out. I feel like I should be doing something else outside, but I don't really know what to do. Although I did think of something. I got a project when this is done. Uh-oh. My pump died. I'm guessing we ran out of fuel. Back up and running, and we're almost empty. It's gonna fit. Some bored sitting here waiting on this pump to transfer all this fertilizer, so I started looking through our tender trailer. Look what I found. These are my good new straps for hauling seed. Yeah. We're gonna have to take those, put them in my truck. We're getting close now. The sight gauge is empty. I'm I'm gonna let it pump it all out though, so when the pump starts sucking air, we'll shut it down. I think that'll do it. Close our valve so it doesn't all leak back. All right, so we got that tank empty. And this one is, it's not full, but it's awfully close, or up there in the second to top ring. So, what I want to do now is just shut the valves off on both of those tanks. We'll take this hose and connect it back up to there, which is how we get out this pump then, and then we can hook this tank back up, but that tank is going to get unhooked because when they bring semi-loads in, that's how they fill it, pump it in the bottom. Also, yes, I realize that the pump is leaking a little bit. It's the O-ring on this hose coming out the top. We'll get a new gasket put in there and it will be fine. Now would be a really good time to switch that fitting out to a 3-inch valve and connect it to our 3-inch hose. I have intentions of and would someday like to put a 3-inch electric pump in here and be able to fill faster and everything else, but 3-inch pumps are super expensive, and there's nothing wrong with the way that we're doing it now. So kind of as I replace things, I've been going to 3-inch. That's why there's a 3-inch mainline hose in there, but not necessary right now. So someday maybe we'll get there. All right, now that that project is done, I have a headlight on my truck that needs replaced. I happen to have a replacement, and it's nice enough outside that I had to take my jacket off so I can work on it outside. So I'm gonna pull it up here on the concrete and we're gonna do that. Yeah, it's this light, and the problem with it is a giant pain in the butt to get to, because you kind of gotta reach your hand in through there. Oops, sorry. In, around, up, yeah, it's clear in there, and there's just no way to get to it. I've done it before. Well, because I'm so good at this, I managed to pull the wires right off of their connections and pull this wire off of the connector. So, because of that, we now get to trace wires with our handy-dandy test light to see which ones are even for what. Good thing I'm a professional electrician, right? They're never easy. You just can't be a simple project, can it? So, I decided I had to take the headlight out to be able to get to the wires on the back so I can actually get to this light bulb and figure out where everything goes. And in order to take the headlight out, well, you have to take the grill off, and in order to take the grill off, you have to take that piece off because it sits on top of it. I got it apart now, at least, so now I got to trace wires down, and yeah, this is kind of a custom job, which means nothing standard, and it's kind of a mess, so I got to figure out what wires are supposed to go where, and we may be doing some rewiring. Well, would you look at that? Turns out, all you got to do is have the wires hooked up and the lights work. I did not change the bulb. I just found out which wires go where. I think what my problem was, well, clearly the one had pulled off. But in this connection here, this connection is not indexed. Like, it can go in either way, which means you can reverse it. And it was backwards. The black wires were not matched up. It was the black to the yellow and a black to a blue, not the black, blue, and the yellow. And the yellow wire is the power coming from the truck. The blue wire is the positive wire that goes to positive on the bulb. And I think that was my problem, is that plug was reversed, which is why it burned out. Well, maybe not. I don't know. This would have been the third time I had to replace this bulb in the last 6 months, and I was starting to wonder what was going on. But clearly the bulb's not bad here. It just came unplugged. So I'm going to make sure I get these connections back good. I've got to probably cut this end off and put a new crimp end on there to get this wire reattached to it. Then we can put it back together. Okay, well, I think I've got it wired up right, and I got it put back in. But before we get too far and too carried away, better try it. And make sure all the lights come on. Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Oh, good thing I tried it. Something came apart on me. It would appear we had a bad connection in this plug, because I got my electrical contact cleaner out and I made sure the pins were straight, and I put it back together even when I was wiggling it around, and it came back on. So my connections on the bulb itself are good. It was in that connection on the wire harness that was my problem. So we are good now. All of the lights are on. We're done. Just for good measure, we'll make sure all the turn signals and brake lights work too. Appears we're good. All right, now we get to put a grill back on and that cover piece. All right, well, I got her all back together. That project is done. Now, it is a little after 5. I'm heading home for today. I've got church tonight, which, yes, I know, everything is shut down, but I'm still the video guy for our church for some reason. So, me and Pastor and 1 or 2 other people will be there, and that's it. So, I can't go in there, the radio's on. Demonetize me. I will be back tomorrow, and we'll find something to do. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so I might be working on a bean planter in the shop too or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. So hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Thanks. Have a good night. I'm telling you, it's nice out today. The boys are taking advantage of it. Say hi.
Hi.